In this episode 66 of The Daily Hustle, we are talking about sales funnels and strategically maximizing your sales process. Also, we talk about what the Order 66 meant to the Jedis.
Broadcasting from the box that rocks and Thrive15.com world headquarters, it's The Daily Hustle with Daniel McKenna.
What is going on, ladies and gentlemen? This is episode 66 of The Daily Hustle, the 66 of The Daily Hustle. Over on my left, Marshall F. Morris. Over here, Daniel McKenna. We are talking about sales funnels and systematically maximizing your sales process. Marshall, how's it going over there, buddy?
I would say just like it could not be better. I'm here. Yeah, I'm here with you. We got the coconut man down here in front of you.
Oh yeah.
You know, we got a couple other things. We got another coconut man over here. So I feel
Are you
pretty
referring
good.
to Sam as a coconut man?
No. There's a different coconut man.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
This is episode 66. This is the Mario Lemieux episode. I could talk all about the Hall of Fame career of Mario Lemieux, Pittsburgh Penguins, National Hockey League. If you haven't heard of hockey, Mario Lemieux, kind of a big deal. But we'll get into some more random facts. I think that's more fun.
Okay.
The designation of 36 U.S. state and 2 territorial highways are Highway 66. There's 36 of them. That's a lot. You could figure they could find out a different number. I mean, they go into the hundreds. But no, a lot of them decided 66 was the number. So when they say Route 66, they might not be talking about your Route 66. They might be talking about somebody else's Route 66.
No further comment.
The total number of the Protestant edition of the Bible, Old and New Testament combined, is 66. In Star Wars movies, Order 66 is a prepared order to the clone troopers to kill the Jedi commanding them.
No further questions.
None of those got anything for you?
No,
We talked about highways, talked about the Bible, talked about Star Wars, talked about Mario Lemieux. None of that impressed you?
No. Mario Lemieux is very impressive.
Okay, just Mario Lemieux. I could have stopped there. Is that what you're saying?
You could have.
Okay. Let's get into the sales funnels and systematically maximizing your sales process. Marshall, the great Peter Drucker, management expert, said what gets measured gets managed. So let's talk about sales funnels. What is a sales funnel and what does it have to do with Mr. Drucker's quote here?
So the sales funnel is specifically the concept that talks about taking a large number of potential buyers and continually whittling it down through your sales process in order to get a smaller number of ideal and likely buyers through your process. And if you are not continually trying to whittle down and segment the group of people that you could market to, but rather try and market to everybody, but don't whittle that down, then you will find yourself spending a ton of money, a copious amount of cash on trying to market to these people, and it will only prove to be ineffective. So what we have to do is with our sales funnel, continue to refine it and identify what parts of the funnel work and what parts of the funnel do not. But until you have a visual representation of what a sales funnel looks like, what your sales funnel looks like, then it's really, really hard to identify what part of the process there is a problem with.
So today's episode, if you imagine the sales funnel, if you imagine the funnel as the top of the funnel, the widest part of the funnel, that's where your marketing is. Your marketing, everything in your marketing, that's that top layer of that funnel. And then further on down is the people that took you up on some of that marketing, and now maybe they're in conversation with you. Maybe they're talking to them. Maybe you got into the sales process. And then further down, all the way at the bottom of the funnel, that's the customers. That's people that are actually paying you. We're talking about that middle level today. We're talking about that sales process part of the funnel, the sales process. So we're saying up here, top level, marketing, we're going to skip that for right now. We've talked about marketing and how to get customers and Facebook ads and Google. We talked about all that in previous episodes. We'll continue to talk about that. In today's episode, we're talking about once you get them past the marketing stage and they're now in the middle section, they're now in your sales process of your funnel, now what? How do we improve that? How do we convert more of those middle people down to the bottom where there's more customers? How do we do that? And that's what we're talking about, maximizing your sales process.
Did you know that I did my honors thesis project on this particular concept?
Really?
Yeah. It was based on the sales funnel.
Really?
Yeah.
I had no idea.
I did not end up graduating with honors because they told me it was too pragmatic of a study and did not have enough esoteric textbook definitions included and textbook citations in it.
Really?
Yeah. So they said
They said this is too real world. This isn't enough generalness.
Yeah, I used real business case studies instead of textbook examples. So they said, no.
Wow. That's amazing.
It's a true story.
Was this for business? Was it a business class?
Yeah.
Wow. Wow. Okay, well, in case that you are more interested in getting paid, in case you're more interested in getting more customers and less interested in graduating with honors,
Yeah.
then this is going to be for you.
Yeah. That's why I didn't lose any sleep over it.
Okay, so let's talk about this. The top of the funnel is often referred to as the awareness stage. At this stage, your customers are becoming aware of your product or service. This is where your marketing is. They are most likely only interacting with your marketing efforts, such as maybe a blog or paid advertising. They see you. They know that you exist. They maybe don't even know your name necessarily, but they know you sell that thing. At some point, a percentage of these potential customers will express further interest in your offering and will move down the funnel. How and why this happens is largely dependent on your business model. These lower funnel stages, everything but below the awareness line, represent your true sales process. So let's talk about finding the crack in your sales funnel stages, Marshall. Finding the cracks. Where are the leaks? Where are those leads getting out?
That's right.
Okay. So if you're at home, go ahead and take out a pen, take out some paper. Maybe take out an Etch-a-Sketch.
If you're not at home and you're in your car listening to this, bookmark this episode, listen to the rest of it, and then come back to it and do this exercise once you're in front of a pen and a paper.
It's good. It's good.
Yeah.
And we're going to have you list out your specific sales process. To give you an example, we'll go through one here. A is your prospecting and marketing. That's your top of awareness, right? But we're going on past that. We're saying they've taken some sort of interaction with you. So let's say that your business, maybe you're selling tractor trailers to, maybe you're the guy that you're like the middleman guy, right? Like John Deere has his tractor trailers. You're selling tractor trailers to the guys that are selling tractor trailers to customers.
You're a distributor.
Business to business. Yeah, distributor. Business to business distributor here.
Your business is called the Yoga Dude.
You're the Yoga Bro.
The Yoga Bro.
Hey, I'm Marshall Morris for the Yoga Bro. I sell tractor trailers. Love it. So let's say you're that. Let's say you're the business to business. If that's not you, you're not business to business, write out your own steps, okay? But for business to business, 1, A was prospecting and marketing. 1, pitch made. You made the pitch. They interacted with you. You made the pitch. Said, here's why we should talk about my tractor trailers. Step 2, demo scheduled. They were like, there was some sort of like appointment. So for in the wedding photography industry, this would be like, we met you at a bridal fair. We talked about what we did. We set up a follow appointment. Right? Demo scheduled. 3, demo complete, or the appointment happened. Not only did we set up an appointment, but that appointment actually happened. So again, there's 1 step, 2 step, 3 step, 4, price negotiated. You talked about the price. You talked about everything that went in with your tractor trailers. You talked about everything that went in with your wedding photography offering. Got down to the specifics. Price negotiated. And step 5, closed. These are the people that actually paid you. Okay, so here's your sales process. You got all your big steps along the way, whatever your process is. Make sure you list out your specific big steps. But let's say you're a tractor trailer guy. These are your big steps. Marshall, anything that we need to, because this is your thing, Marshall. This is your thing. Did I leave something out so far? Am I missing something?
No, you're killing the game.
So far, I'm okay.
So far, you're okay. Now, this is for all the visual learners. Shout out to all the visual learners.
Shout out visual learners. What up?
Okay. So what you're going to have is what you have to
Represent
do,
visual learners.
What you have to do, action items right now. Action items. Go buy yourself a whiteboard if you do not already have one, specifically for the sales process. You have to put it up on a whiteboard, okay? You have to draw this process up on a whiteboard, because just thinking about it only when you're listening to a podcast of the Daily Hustle is not sufficient, okay? What we're telling you is what you need to be doing, but unless you actually implement it and start doing it, it's not going to be effective. So the first thing that you need to do is you need to draw your sales process. Now, this includes the marketing portion of your sales process here. At the beginning, let's say that your marketing efforts are a blog, Facebook ads, and AdWords, and they're all funneling into your website, okay? Your website's going to serve as your branding and marketing component, okay? Now, some might say this is the beginning of the sales process. This might be the end of the marketing process. Regardless, once they get to the website, that is one of the steps. If your website does not look world-class, that could be the problem.
Could be.
That could be the hurdle for why you're not getting leads, okay? Then you have the form, okay? The form. If people are filling out your form, but at no point do you get their phone number or email address, that could be a problem. The form in and of itself is one of the steps of the process. Then we move on to the sales process, okay? Now we're moving into the sales process of what do you do once you actually have the leads. We're defining all of the different steps. So, of the sales process, number one, what call are you making? What specifically are you articulating in the call? What is the script that you're using? Do you have a script? Is the script winning? Then you have the text message. If they're not responding to the phone calls, what text message are you sending? If they're not responding to the phone call or the text message, what email are you sending? Okay. And once you finally get that scheduled, once you've scheduled the pitch, you've gotten a hold of them, they have said, okay, I'll give you 15 minutes. Let me hear what it is that you have to say. Then you have to break down your one sheet and presentation and your close, okay? But each one of these items is a different step of the sales process and therefore have to be articulated as so that when you examine your sales process, you can say, hey, our phone call, it sounds great. People are not leaving after we have the phone call. People are not leaving after they look over the one sheet. But people are becoming disinterested after we do the presentation. So, probably got to work on the presentation. But unless you see it visually as all of these different steps, people are not going to, you're never going to be able to identify the problem in where your sales process is. So the big action item is to put this visually up on a whiteboard. So as we go through the rest of the episode here, we can help you identify where in the sales process the issue is.
So potentially your numbers, if you haven't done this before, potentially your appointments aren't closing. You get to the appointments, they're not closing. And you say, as business owner that, is taking action, proactive, not reactive here, taking action, you're saying, sounds like we need to change the script. We're not closing anything. We need to change the script because I haven't visually done this. I haven't broken down these steps. We need to change the script. We're obviously not closing things. Let's change the script. When really maybe the problem was the way you're doing the appointments. So then you're changing the wrong thing.
Correct.
Okay. The golden rule here is separate when possible. So for in the tractor trailer instance, it'd be easy to segment in the demo as one thing instead of demo scheduled and demo completed. It'd be easy to say the demo. Are people getting through the demo? But really, there's two parts of that. Scheduling the demo and actually doing the demo, because there's going to be probably some drop-off in between those two numbers, right? So separate when possible. Also notice that you can lose leads at any stage of the sales process. The more granular you focus your stages, the easier it will be to identify where the leaks are happening. Okay. So the whole point here, Marshall, is you want to find out where are the bottlenecks, where are the trigger points, what do we need to focus on to get more people down to our customer level? And you just laid out five different steps. I laid out 5 different steps. Your company has your own steps. What are the steps that you need to work on? So how do you know what you should be working on today? Well, let's go through some examples. Let's say 100% of the people got the pitch, because we're saying these are the people that are in the funnel. We're not talking about marketing this time. We're talking about sales process. 100% of the people got the pitch. Cool.
100% of people complete step 1.
Step 1, 100%. Okay, of those 100%, we got 35% of those set up for an appointment. Okay, 35% of the people of that 100% now set up for the appointment. And let's say 25% of the original 100% actually went in on the appointment. Had a 10% drop off of scheduling the appointment and actually did the appointment. And then of those 25% of the original 100%, maybe 15% of those people closed. They actually bought. Marshall, with those sort of numbers, what would you look at and say, this is what we really need to work on here. This is what we need to focus on?
Well, in between each one of these steps, there's going to be a drop-off. And you got to ask yourself, how much is expected? How much is the expected drop-off? How much is the reasonable drop-off? How much am I comfortable with the number of people dropping off? And then anytime that there is an exceedingly large amount of people that have dropped off, or I'm not satisfied with how many people dropped off, I need to go to the most beginning stage of that and work forward. So if the first interaction is setting the appointment, okay, if the first step is calling for the appointment, I have to create a system in which people call, okay? So if people aren't even calling to set the appointment in the first place, that's an issue.
Maybe an
issue. And
issue.
I've seen this as an issue in business. We get leads, but we don't call them.
That's insane.
It's insanity. So that might be where you need to start. Probably not you, other businesses.
Other businesses that you know.
Other businesses that are not watching the Daily Hustle, that's their problem.
Right.
But if you're calling everybody and only 35% of people are scheduling an appointment, chances may be that you want a higher percentage scheduling an appointment. So we have to identify what in the script is making people not want to schedule an appointment. That's the first thing. Because
you just said 100% of the people got the pitch. 35% of those people signed up for an appointment. 25% of the original 100%, 25% of the original 100% went ahead and went through the appointment, meaning that something like 70-something% of the people that got the appointment pitch, like got the appointment to schedule, they showed up.
That's right.
Which is a high number.
Mm-hmm.
70% of the people that we said, hey, let's set up an appointment, they said, cool, and then they showed up. Mm. So you might say, oh, we're already down to 25%. That sounds like a low number. We're talking about the drop-off between the stages. Mm-hmm. And 70% is pretty high for keeping that appointment.
That's right.
And the same thing with the people closing. Mm-hmm. We said 15% of your total 100% people closed after that appointment. Mm-hmm. Well, math real quick here. But that's 60% of the people that actually showed up for the appointment.
Which a lot of percentages.
Which is pretty good.
Yeah.
Not bad. You can get better, but not bad. 60% of the people that you actually got to sit down and do the appointment, they went ahead and bought.
2 out of 3 ain't bad.
Not bad. Not terrible, depending on your industry. So what should you work on here? In this example, well, you should probably get more people to set up an appointment. Right? You want to get that number higher.
That's hot.
So this probably means your pitch needs work, you aren't communicating enough value, or you're pitching to the wrong people in this example. Let's give him one more example here, Marshall. One more example. 100% of the people got the pitch. 100%. 75% of those people, you worked on this, 75% of those people went ahead and scheduled the appointment. Pitch went well. They're like, yeah, sounds cool. 75% of the people. And then of those people, let's say 65% of the original 100%, they showed up for the appointment. That's a big number. Almost everybody of the appointment that you said, let's set up an appointment. They're like, cool, and they showed up. But then you only closed 10%. You closed 10% of the people that you pitched to. In this example, Marshall, what should you start working on?
In this example, you've got to improve your appointment script. Your appointment script. Because you're getting a hold of them.
Yep.
They're scheduling an appointment,
Yep.
but then nobody's closing.
They're going through the appointment.
They're going through it,
Yeah.
but nobody's closing.
But then a huge drop off in between the actual appointment and people actually paying you.
They don't like the shirt that you wear to the appointment.
Maybe it's your shirt.
Maybe it's the words that you say.
Maybe it's your face. Sorry, I didn't know how like if this turned into an insult thing or if we were talking about business. I just didn't know where to go, so I acted first. I'm gonna act tough until I realize what's going on. So this either means that your appointment needs to get better or your customer isn't ready to make a decision, and there needs to be more layers of follow-up. Marshall took that personally. So, Marshall, the takeaway here is you at home need to map out your specific sales funnel and track where your prospects have been falling off. You need to know those sort of numbers so that you can know what to work on.
Work on how my face looks.
Marshall, this is a broad concept. We got down some fairly good details here. Something that for the people that have never done this is going to be a big deal for their company. It really is.
Everybody, go home, spend an hour doing this. It'll change the way that you do sales. It will double the way that you do sales. Focus on improving this sales funnel 2% every single week for the next year, and you will double your sales.
And just knowing what it is that you need to be spending your time on, what it is you need to be working on, is a pretty big deal.
Yeah.
Because there's millions of things you could be using your time for, but if you know what it is you should be working on, you actually work on those things, that's what's going to change your business.
Hot sizzle.
Marshall, we have reached that gloried spot where we have a little bit of time left, and it's time for that new segment. The new segment is called Heart on a Sleeve. Heart on a Sleeve with Marshall Morris, where we just give Marshall some free time here to talk about whatever he's thinking about. You got a couple minutes here, buddy. Got a minute, 2 minutes, depends on how interesting it is. Heart on a Sleeve with Marshall Morris. Go ahead, Marshall.
I had several things that I wanted to talk about, but now after those comments that were made during the episode today, I'm going to ask you. I want to know what your experience is using a pottery wheel.
I have seen them being used. I have never used one myself.
Are you do you frequently blow glass?
I have never done that.
So how would you rank your artisan skills on a scale of 1 to 10?
What is lower than 1? Is that an option?
I mean, we might allow for that.
I'm going to say 2 because I'm pretty confident in myself.
Pretty confident that you don't have very many skills.
I'm confident that I have 0 skills, but I can pull it off.
Would you say that your outdoor landscaping skills or your artisan skills are more effective?
Outdoor landscaping, because I've done that more often. I'd give myself a 4 or maybe a 5 in outdoor landscaping skills.
So therefore, better at outdoor landscaping.
Yes.
So for anybody that needs outdoor landscaping work done, email info@thrive15.com and I will personally send you Dan McKenna's phone number. That's all. That's what we got for today. Marshall's Heart on a Sleeve.
That's what you want to use your arms. Oh man. Well, I'm gonna regret that. Well, that was episode 66 here, ladies and gentlemen, in the Maximizing Your Sales Funnel episode. In episode 67, we're gonna get into even further diving into this. Maybe the problem is the humans. We're gonna talk about plugging the human leaks in your sales funnel. Kind of a big deal. If you have humans employed at your business, this is going to be big for you. To my left, the slightly salty Marshall F. Morris. Over here, Daniel McKenna. This has been episode 66. We'll see you next time on The Daily Hustle. Boom.